Well, happy Monday and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. I'm Deanna. It's great to see you. It is great to be back. Um, is it great to be back? It's awful leaving Cape Cod. I'll say that, but it is nice to be back together. Welcome back to Monday. Joss is over there in the peanut gallery without clothing on, so she won't come onto the camera unless she puts on clothes. But welcome back, and I want to take another look today. We did a kind of perfunctory start looking at this wonderful and sadly rare rug hooking book called the Gagetown Hookers. And it was compiled, as we found out in the last episode, by Larry E. Dubourg. And it is about two hookers, a couple, and they are Lydia and Raymond. Lydia and Raymond Scott. And we started looking in the last episode, which must have been last Friday, wasn't it? The Friday before, because I was gone last week. And gosh, we were just looking at the highest sort of example of folk art and rug hooking. And we'll return to that in just a minute. I just want to say hello to all my buddies who are there. I also want to remind you a few things coming up, a bunch of things coming up. And let's do that right now before we forget. So, book club. We started a book club, not the Writers Club, right? That's different. I'll make a date for the Writers Club to meet again for those of you who are working on your own book projects. But we have an actual book club coming up. And the book this month is, I'm listening to it on Audible, The Sewing Machine. I'm only on chapter 3. But it's not until next week. And from what I've heard from people who have finished listening or reading to this book, The Sewing Machine by Natalie Fergie, people are loving this. So I'm on chapter 3. I'm loving it so far, but apparently it is a great book. Huge shout out to my good friend Rebecca Martin of Storyteller Wool, because she's the one who recommended this book. I had a bunch of ideas, and she's very active in her book clubs at home, like in real life book clubs. And I'm kind of out of the circle because I used to host a book club years ago locally here, but it was only vintage books. We did vintage books that had movies, right? That, also had movies. So we would have a movie night and we met at the video store and we would talk about the book and then watch the movie together and shout out during the movie, which was so much fun. So I'm not up on my contemporary books, and I'm very grateful to her for choosing one that is so has been so appealing to so many people. So we are meeting for our book club night next Monday. So Monday the 26th of August at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will create a Zoom link. I think I already have created a Zoom link. It's in, if you go to our Facebook page, which is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club, it's there. The Zoom link is already there. I will also cut and paste it into our YouTube videos. I'll do that when I end the video. I'll put it into this video in case you're not a Facebook person and you want to join the book club talk, right? It's just for fun. I'm not gonna do like super academic deep dives and do like a graduate level, like let's really talk about the book. It's just for fun. I want to get everybody's opinion. I want to hear lots of voices, and I will never call on anybody. So you're safe kind of sitting there and enjoying and listening, even if you're only partway through the book. Okay, so that's coming up on the 26th, August 26th. Just so you all know, I will be judging the Big E again on September Thursday 5th. I don't know if anybody sent in rugs to the Big E, which is the largest country fair in this part of the country in New England. I've been the judge there. This will be the 3rd year for the rug division. Maybe you sent some of your rugs into your local country fair, which would also be fantastic. So that's coming up as well. I am frantically working on the Haunted Rug book, which I was working on over vacation, looking around to see if I have anything to show you, but I think all my projects are in the other room. Not that I want to show you a ton, but I do want to show you some. I got 2 projects almost done, so I feel really good about that. And yeah, we were away last week on Cape Cod. And we did one more big thing for the summer. We still haven't done a single amusement park. I keep saying to the kids, don't you want to go to Rye Playland or go to Quasi or one of these amusement? Canopy Lake is my favorite. I know that in a few weeks we'll go up north to New Hampshire to go to Santa's Village. Do you know Santa's Village and Storyland? But we didn't do any of our full blast summer amusement parks, which is fine with me because they cost a fortune. It's always super, super hot.
What about
Um,
Quasi? That one doesn't cost that much.
no, they all cost a lot, but I'm happy to go to Quasi Hun. Quasi is nice because it's on a lake and you can use the lake too.
It's an
But
amazing one.
it has an amazing water park. It does, yeah. But yeah, we were away this past week, so we missed you. We missed you then. I missed being together, but it was a great week for me to get some work done, and it was a great week for the kids to splash around. I went swimming every day except the last day in the pond, which is one of my favorite things, and it was just so nice, so charming. It's the time of the year on Cape Cod where you're just driving around and you mean to get a lobster roll or something like that, and you pass a craft fair. There was like three times that happened, and it's so much fun to just stop and see who's there. There's often people there, local writers who have their books at a stall and are signing books, and people who make all kinds of clothing and jewelry and do woodworking and enamel and glass and fiber, so many different things. It was such a lot of fun, and the week sort of culminated in a Friday night because we left. You have to leave on Saturday morning to check out. It's Saturday to Saturday, and Joss, can you stop making that noise? She's popping the slime. That's going to be like a chapter of my memoir, Joss. It's going to be called "Popping the Slime," like that chapter. Stop it! I'm on camera. She's going to make me angry now. It is the end of the summer, isn't it? But the happy week culminated in a night at the bandstand, the band concert in Chatham, and man, that is so fun. Dancing around the bandstand, and I did the tango with Teddy to Hernando's Hideaway, which he loved, and he was good at doing the tango, I have to say. Not so much the waltz. I did 3 waltzes with him, and there were no foxtrots this year, but it was really fun. They did a set for Les Miserables, the musical, and they did a set for The Music Man, the musical, and a set for the band Queen. That was really exciting and energized. It was just a lot of fun. Sometimes they do a set of like Barry Manilow, which obviously is the best, or Billy Joel or something like that. I like Queen. I forgot that I liked a few of their songs. But it was a very fun night, and it's hard to come back and be home. We in Connecticut yesterday, maybe where you are too. My mom just wrote to me and said we had a record amount of rain, the most rain that we've had in. It was a flash flood warning all afternoon, and the most rain we've had in 1,000 years. So, or was it 100 years? I feel like she said 1,000. Can't be 1,000 because they wouldn't have been recording 1,000 years ago. Yeah, she said 1,000-year flood levels. Interesting. I have to look into that. I'm not. Yeah, it was a lot. It was like dangerous things breaking and houses getting flooded. We were fine where we were, but Teddy was out staying with a friend, and I dropped him off, and it was a little bit rainy, and I thought, maybe I'll go for a run, and then it was really rainy when I drove back, and his parents were going to take them out to eat for their son's birthday, and they ended up not going out because of the rain. So you know who had to go and pick Teddy back up at the end of the playing date. I went over there and I almost got stuck in the deepest puddle I've ever driven through. I had to floor the car to get it through this puddle. And I thought, oh, good, now we're all set. Let's go home and be warm and dry. And I got to the stoplight right on the corner of our street. And this, oh, I almost said a bad word, this turkey came flying around, cutting the corner sharp, and hit us. And I'm going to check the car now that it's daylight, but it seems like it was just scuffed and it's just superficial stuff. But I still reported it and all that, and we were fine. Teddy was very nervous, as you can imagine. He's never had that happen before. I'm used to people hitting me from behind at lights because they're looking at their phone, and I get out, and if it's just a tap, I'm usually like, just pay attention. Come on. But in this case, being hit from the front when I'm stopped at an intersection is a real treat. So just makes me want to get out of this neighborhood even more. It's so busy here, but we are fine. I had to spend some time this morning with the insurance people. This stupid stuff. It's like life. It's the life stuff. It's so stupid. If people would just pay attention and not be stupid, there'd be a lot less accidents. I know we all know that. I'm just gonna say it to the universe one more time. There are bound to be accidents in life, but there don't have to be tons of extra stupid accidents, right? When you're speeding and cutting a corner, I mean that's doubly stupid. But yeah, whatevs, right? Whatevs. I got back to work. I sat back down and got back to work because I had a lot of orders to catch up on. Thank you. Magpie Times will be out soon. I don't have a day. Can somebody put that animal outside? See, I might be a little bit edgy, still left over from that stress. Um, I don't have a date for you yet, but I will have a date for you soon. Judy's putting it together now. She just sent me some stuff to proof, so I'll proof that as soon as I'm done with the show. And man, the articles are looking great. We're going to go over 100 pages. The first issue of Magpie Times was 80 or 85 pages, something like that. We are going to go to over 100 pages every time because we have so much content. And if you have sent us a beautiful article that fits the theme of that issue of Magpie, we don't want to keep you waiting or hold and pin it until next year. We don't mind putting more pages into it, particularly now that we are doing some different things with printing. By the way, Jossie, can you bring me one of the magazines in there off the table? I told you that issues 1 and 2 of Magpie, back issues, are now on Amazon, just the back issues. So the current issue won't hit until we've been selling it and doing all of our stuff, I think. Let me talk to Judy.
Different cover pages?
Yeah, we tried with a few different printers, but the issue of Magpie Times, this is the second issue, the Amazon issue. We were experimenting. My husband accidentally put the text on the spine a little bit too small. You need like the Hubble telescope to see it. It's like I was like I didn't even see it. But what I love is that with these Midsummer Magic.
Magpie Times #2.
That to get away from the camera with your huge amount of skin showing. Not that she's huge, she's adorable. But yeah, so we'll fix this. We'll fix this immediately. I think he's already fixed that. But it's nice. It's a nice big magazine, nice spine, and I love that from now on we're going to have the name of the magazine on the spine. We're going to offset it a little bit here because it has a little white frame on it. But I'm loving the way this looks. It's still a really, I'm sure you can't tell, but it's a very thick cover still. The quality, I have to say, is at least as good or even better. Really thick pages, great color, looks fantastic. Glossy cover, real thick. So I'm really happy with this, and it's nice to have those back issues there. So yeah, so we'll see. Judy and I are figuring it out as we go along. It has been like a financial anchor around my neck since the beginning, and I've been holding my breath because I love this project so much, and it's another thing that we can dig into together and get all of our stuff out there. So I have not wanted to give up on it, but I was right at that threshold of I just can't keep emptying out my bank account and owing money to keep doing this. But I think we figured out how to make this work, and I'm very, very excited. Did you see Kelly Smith's beautiful cover for the upcoming issue? It's called the Country Fair, for the Country Fair issue. It is absolutely gorgeous. KellySmithDesigns.com. So that will be a free pattern, one of the many free patterns in this issue, and I don't think you've seen any of the other free patterns. I put in 2 new Sugar Skull pumpkin faces, which is exciting. You've seen other ones, but these are new ones, which I think is a lot of fun for Halloween. And of course, the Haunted Rug book is moving right along now too. Everybody who's working on their stuff is working on it now, or I've seen it. I'm so blown away with how beautiful everything looks. Are you coming to the party is the big question. I finally figured out what I want my costume to be. I'm so excited. It's not a crazy costume. It's still comfortable. Like, it's a partial costume, you know what I mean? I'm not dressing up like in a ball gown or something and being Cinderella. It's something that's comfortable to wear all day because it's also a hook-in and a party. And it's October 20th at the Red Lion Inn. In Stockbridge, Massachusetts, which is the heart of the Berkshires. Best time of the year to be in the Berkshires out there. I'm going to be, when we get a little bit closer and I can breathe a little bit better, I'm going to put together some other stuff that is possible to do, like the Norman Rockwell Museum, like Edith Wharton's The Mount, like Herman Melville's Arrowhead, the house, like beautiful little villages like Lenox and Stockbridge itself. And I will be calling the Chamber of Commerce for both of those towns. They're right next to each other. This afternoon too, to see if we can get some pamphlets and ideas for other things if you're staying either at the Red Lion Inn or one of the infinite bed and breakfasts, not even counting what are they, Airbnbs. I don't even look at Airbnb, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I still look for bed and breakfasts and old inns online, and there's tons of those, and there's tons of chain hotels, which are great for us too because they're super inexpensive, and you know, they always have like a nice breakfast and a pool. So lots of options out there, and I'll come back to you with more things that we can do. But that is October 20th, and if you are going to go, make sure you get a ticket. The event is like noon till 5, hook in, party, get together. I will be there with 4 other vendors, so 5 vendors. That's a lot. An exhibit of some of the rugs that are in the Haunted Rug book. The Haunted Rug is going to have over 120 patterns, which is huge. And the book will be there. Some of you already have the book. You can bring it if you want it signed, or you can get it there. Other vendor stalls, tea sandwiches. It's going to be a really, really fun, big party in the right place for fall, at the right time of the year, and right on the threshold to the avalanche of seasons, right? Halloween, Thanksgiving, and then whatever your winter holiday is. It is going to be a lot of fun. I really hope that you're coming. This is so, so, so important to me personally. This is like my book that I've been waiting for forever, to be able to have a little bit of time to write. And so many of you are helping me realize this project of getting this dream project done. And it means a lot to me. I would love to see you there. It's a super big deal for me personally. So let me see who's here and say good morning. Okay, there we go. Catherine, great to see you in Southern California. Super excited that you're there. My mom says, good morning from cloudy Granby. Some fierce weather here lately. Happy to be with you. Yep, it's super fierce weather. So my mom's also in Connecticut. I put on this shirt today for no rain, no flowers. Yeah, it has not been nice weather. Although while we were away last week, we got no rain. One storm in the evening one night that didn't make any difference because we were on our way to the Chinese restaurant anyway. It doesn't matter if it rains, right? So it's been absolutely crazy here. I'm glad everything. It sounds like everybody I know is doing okay, because it really has been epically bad in Connecticut and maybe other places too. Kirsten, great to see you. Happy Monday from still smoky Vermont. Yeah, we are all getting, it's a mixed bag of miserable weather, isn't it? April, great to see you. Good morning from Illinois. And Catherine, and happy Monday to you too. Happy coffee time, rug makers. That is so nice. Judy, great to see you. I had a great time. It really was so relaxing and so much fun. I ate like a pig and reversed all my good dieting. Oh, God. Linda B., great to see you. Good morning. Cheryl, good morning. Great to see you. It's rainy there on the Cape too. I like the little worms and the little butterflies. Too cute. Ryan, happy Monday from sunny North Texas. Almost done with my haunted rug piece. Oh, no rush. You have tons of time. Peace and love to you too. I can't wait to see that. Karen, great to see you in chilly and cloudy Black Forest, Colorado. Oh, we're getting to the end of the summer, and now who knows what we're in for, right? Kathleen, great to see you. Thank you. It is nice to be back. It's nice to be able to get dig back into work and really jet on the book project. I'm very excited because, as you can imagine, it's still me, right? And there's a lot of projects behind this project. So lots for us to dig into ongoing. It's just never going to end. As long as I'm here, it's not going to end. Catherine, and yesterday I ordered the upcoming issue of Magpie Times. Fantastic. Thank you so much. You're not going to be disappointed. It is absolutely another stellar issue. And it's worth saying, just as a reminder, looking forward to the next Magpie, the theme is Marshmallow World. So winter, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever your winter holiday is, let's include it, right? Anything you want for holidays. I want to celebrate everybody's holidays. If you have something to celebrate, put it in the winter issue, right? If you celebrate a winter holiday, there will certainly be Christmas stuff in there. There will be fun stuff. There will be angel stuff. There will be Santa stuff. There will be stuff for everybody, because we know we all feel differently and different things are important to different people. It'll be a mixed bag like all of the issues of Magpie. It will be the winter issue. So be thinking about things that you might want to put into that. And remember, it's not just a rug hooking magazine. If you've got a great knitting pattern, a crochet project, a quilting project, an embroidery project, anything textile, if you do some kind of applique or something with clothing, if you make stockings, right? Anything that you can think of that would fit into our love of the textile arts that you'd like to put into this issue of Magpie Times, be thinking about Marshmallow World. And I'm guessing the deadline for that. Now hold on. If the deadline for this one was August, what did she say? August 10? August, September. Okay, so we're going to want to put that out. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I think the first week of November. So that should be the deadline. So be thinking along those lines, and what project or what pieces you would like to put into the gallery. Right, that would be really exciting. So Marshmallow World is coming up next. And Diana, great to see you. Good morning in Fort Worth, Texas. Judy, do I hear Jocelyn maniacally popping bubble wrap? Your ears are excellent. You know, she makes this slime. I mean, she makes it all day long. We just buy these huge, huge tubs of glue, like more than a gallon, and she loves it. And yeah, she makes butter slime and cloud slime, and I don't know what the other ones, glossy slime maybe. But yeah, she's over there and she does, like, it's like she's making saltwater taffy, right? It's like a taffy pull. Like life is a taffy pull. That'd be a great one for a rug, wouldn't it? Her sitting there with like no clothing on with the taffy pull, and messes everywhere, stuff spilled everywhere, the cap left off of everything. It would be so eerie if I ever woke up and came downstairs to find that both the glue gun was unplugged, and the cap was on the glue, right? I think she can hear me, so I don't want to torment her. But my God, I just bought the book. I just need to read it. Oh, I think you'll read it fast, Diana. It really is. Again, I'm only on chapter 3, but it's very conversational and it's compelling and fun. Um, oh, I'm just catching up on your comments. Hey, Dave. Thank you so much. You went to a great art exhibit yesterday. It was very inspiring. Oh, can you send me, when you have time, can you send something that I can use for gallery night? We can maybe look at that in gallery night. That'd be super fun. Let's do gallery night. Let me think about that, whether we want to do it. Let me think about it. Maybe not this coming Friday, but the Friday after might be a good time to do gallery night. Lena, great to see you. Thank you so much. Jumping in for a few minutes. Have to run. Yeah, oh, I bet. Darn work gets in the way. Oh, right. Amen to that. Um, Joyce, great to see you. Good morning. Catherine, I finished my version of your rug for the Haunted Rug. Fantastic. Send it to me on email at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. I like all of the images to come in on email for the Haunted Rug book, because Facebook makes everything very small, and then it's like out of focus. You know what I mean? And make sure if you are writing, if you are completing something for the Haunted Rug book, you essentially have a chapter, because the book is going to open, like, for example, I'm going to do this with let me do it with this so I don't do a spoiler alert. The book is going to open like this, right? So there's going to be some pages, first introduction, blah, 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 yada, 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 brrr, and then you open it, it'll be like a teacher's Halloween, right? Pattern by Ribbon Candy Hooking, artist or designer Ribbon Candy Hooking, artist Mandy Cornish, and then there's going to be a picture on that page of the finished piece, and then the text on the rest of the page, and hold on that text, and then on the opposite page, the facing page, the pattern gridded, like totally gridded, so you can use that pattern like just as it is. And if you like doing the old-fashioned way, going square to square, or you bring it to Staples, or you put it right on your flatbed printer and you tell your printer how big do you want it printed. I want it printed 18 by 22, right? And then it prints at that size, and you cut and tape it together and transfer it. So everybody is essentially, if you've done an item for the Haunted Rug book, you're going to get at least 2 pages. So one page is the gridded pattern, so 100 and still counting of those. And on this page, it's going to have the finished piece, right, tall or short, and then text. So if you are doing one of the chapters, you know, I hope that you can write text if you would like to. Oh, I was working on this piece and I was going to make the dress out of sari ribbon, but it didn't come in time, so I'm just making the story up, right? I ended up ripping up a garbage bag and hooking with that instead, and it looks great. Here it is. Or, oh, I remember this one Halloween when I was a kid and we were growing up, and we thought it was going to rain, and it turned out it did, and we ended up trick-or-treating. I'm making this up as we go along. These are not interesting stories. We ended up trick-or-treating at the mall, and it was the funniest thing happened, and whatever, right? Or, here's some pictures of me in my Halloween costume when I was a kid, or last year. Or here's a picture of my Halloween costume I'm going to wear this year hanging on a hanger. Or here's a picture of my dog dressed up as Cleopatra, right? Or whatever you want. And if you don't want to put any kind of text or additional photos, let me know too. Or Shannon Carter. She's in Australia right now visiting her sister. But let one of us know, or both of us, ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. And because if you don't want to put text in, I'll put text in, just so there's text that go with each one. And my mother thankfully went through a ton of my vintage poetry books that are specifically Halloween from like the 1910s and 1920s, and she typed out a bunch of short poems that were meant for use in schools, like elementary schools at that time. So I have a lot of extra text that I can snip around and put in places. So you don't have to submit something text-wise. But if you have something interesting, you have a funny photo for us with a Halloween feel to it, and you want to put that in, then send that to me also at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. It's going to be such fun. Joyce, the one that Joyce sent me, I won't describe it, made me cry. It was so poignant. I'm receiving some little blurbs and just paragraphs that are so funny and touching and just nostalgic. And that's exactly what I wanted the book to be. So thank you. Thank you to everybody who's helping out with that. And God, I hope you're coming to the party. Anita, great to see you. Happy Monday. I love Marshmallow World too. I think it's going to cover a lot of good stuff. So hey, let's keep going. Let's look at these Gagetown Hookers. This has been such a great book. We were looking at this little book, right? It's a little, very small, not a staple binding, but it is a 41 page book. And again, it was written by Larry Dubourg in 1988, and it is called the Gagetown Hookers. And this is Larry. We looked at these pages at the beginning of the Friday cocktail night episode, and 1952, the Scots, right? And it turns out they are both hookers. So all of the introductory part of it is in the Friday night episode. And I feel like we left off, this is exactly where we left off. So we were looking at a gallery, and the part of the book that we were looking at on Friday was actually the foreword. And I am only now at the introduction, and we have not gotten very far at all. I wonder if we did this. I think we did this. Introduction. My wife Jean accompanied me on one of my buying trips. Yes, we did talk about the introduction quite a bit. I think we covered most of this. Do you remember how, yes, do you remember how they met the Scots? They were taking this trip to Queens County. Gagetown is about 40 miles southeast, we're talking about Canada, of Fredericton. And this is the heart of apple country. Yep, it's all coming back to me now. 9 o'clock in the morning on a comfortable summer day, they drove into Gagetown. Small population, tiny little town. They were antiquing for their antiques business, looking for decoys and splint baskets and things like that, hook drugs, and they found one by the Scots, and they were told they lived locally. Remember, and they drove over, and there they were, and they bought rugs, and then they made a date to go back, and they bought more rugs, and then they formed what was obviously a lasting, happily symbiotic relationship where. Larry was able to sell the rugs, and the Scots were able to keep making the rugs, and everybody was benefiting. Shirazadeh, good morning from the Netherlands. Very nice day. Good to see you. Goedemorgen. No, it's Goede Eva now, isn't it? A little bit later in the day. Great to see you. We have some other buddies from the Netherlands on often, maybe today too. In Belgium. Heidi is in Belgium, and she's southern Belgium, so she's Dutch speaking. So yeah, you are super welcome. I just shut my light off. Sorry about that. How did I do that? Hold on one second. I wonder if you can still see me. You can still see me, right? Let me just do this. Oh, my foot touched the thing. All right. Nope, didn't work. Here I am. Here I am all gray. All right. So the next image, tell me if we looked at this one, because I feel like maybe we did. Do you remember this from Friday night? Let's see. Hold on. First image. Did we look at this image? Because I don't remember talking about this. And it's funny because it's right smack in the introduction here. And this is such an extraordinary piece for them. Of course, they're doing a lot of farm animals and things that they know, things that they see around them. They're kissing pigs. Remember the kissing pigs? Well, this is a little bit different. So the caption for this says, and I'm guessing this was written by Larry, "Ever see such a content-looking cat? It is difficult to imagine a more favorable place for any cat to be. And I guess he means between a bird and a fishbowl. It's just a funny piece. I don't think we've seen that one. No, I agree, Judy. I don't remember chatting about this one, but it's an exceptional piece. There's some oddity happening here in that it's a very elongated piece. So the negative space is a little bit uncomfortable, but it is truly folk art. This is hitting me right in the heart of my love for folk art. It is truly offbeat, right? It is very naive in its look. The cat does have an extraordinary look of devilment on his face, right? It's a really, really sweet and fun. No, wait a minute. Something else is going wrong. Okay, hang on. I'm having a different problem. Hold on, guys. What is happening? Wait a minute. We might have a problem. Okay. Hold on. This is a technical problem. I wonder if I lost. No, we are in trouble. All right. Wait a minute. Let me try something else. My computer's about to die, and I didn't realize it wasn't charging. Just give me a second. If I lose you, we will make a date for tomorrow. Let's see. Arian? Sorry, that's, as usual, me calling the husband for help. Let me see if I can plug. I'm just across the room. I was coming back to you. All right, let me see if that worked. No, that did not work. Huh. Okay, so we might be in trouble because apparently there's no electricity in this room. How strange. Let me try one more thing. Super fun, right? Super fun. I hate cords. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Let's see. Amazing. Oh, life is just stressful as soon as I leave Cape Cod. Every time. All right. Let's see. Nope. Still going strong. Hang in there. Fun times. Sorry. I don't usually move this fast. I usually just say 3 tears in a bucket, if you know what I mean. Let's see. One more chance. Come on, you blankety blank. Huh. Okay, we're charging. I am so sorry about that. I'm not a skilled enough electrician to understand why there are 3 sockets in this room and 2 of them don't work, but 1 of them does. There must be something about the other 2. Oh, that was stressful. Hold on one second. I'll get back to normal. Is it too early for a drink? All right. So we were looking at, and incidentally, if I lose you, I'll send a message up later, but we should be okay now. So interesting, this cat does have, for all the minimalist quality of this piece, the cat does have a really distinct expression on his face. And somehow the maker, I don't know if this is Lydia or Raymond, right? But somehow the maker has achieved this really specific, comical, really endearing look on the cat's face in an otherwise very basic piece. Unexpected, isn't it? So we've got the little bird chirping up on top. It's like the cat version of the song My Favorite Things, and the little fishbowl down at the bottom. And again, if you remember from talking about the Gagetown Hookers on the Friday before last, we kept saying that there is something, I don't want to say odd, but there is something distinctive, unique about the way that the compositions always break the rules of borders, right? In other words, both the cat is well centered, and I actually love the way he's sitting back on his haunches a little bit. He seems very confident and secure in his plan. But the little bird and the little fish are kind of kitty cornered right into two of the corners, and that is a little uncomfortable. Normally, we don't see motifs hitting corners, but with the Gagetown Hookers, we almost always do. So that in itself is unexpected and it's distinctive, and it's one of the things that gives this pair, this couple of hookers, actual couple of hookers, a really endearing look, right? And it pushes their work from being not just contemporary and naive and untrained, but into the category of folk art. All of these little touches, right? All of the rule breaking that's happening really supports an argument for these contemporary pieces being true and collectible folk art. Hungry pigs, right? Now we have seen kissing pigs. We have seen jaded pigs, like remember the two kissing and the other walking off. This is hungry pigs invading the family apple tree. The rug is enhanced by the colorful sawtooth border. Now this is another thing that we're seeing that really is in keeping with the style of Raymond and Lydia. Now the signature is here for both, R and L, both letters down at the bottom. We have not seen hungry pigs yet, but obviously their rugs with pig motifs were selling well because they kept making them, right? So they wanted to sell them. They weren't hoarding them. They weren't keeping them. They weren't, they weren't creating a museum of pig rugs in their house. They were trying to dispose of them and make a little bit of money. So the pigs must have been selling very well, because here they are again, except this is a variation on the kissing pigs. Now we have the hungry pigs, but it is still the same pigs, isn't it? And same as in past pig rugs, we're seeing the pigs, even though they are like bookends, right, in this twofold, right, because it's the same from side to side motif. The pigs are different. The posing of the pigs is different. Somehow still, the pig on the right looks more female to me than the pig on the left looks more male. I don't know why. It's just the way that it looks. They always have a little bit of variation, and I think that's interesting. Because it's like, how did they do that? How does the pig on the right look a little more female? Is it because she's got, like, her lips are a little bigger? I don't know. But my eye is reading them is very different, and it creates a really interesting dynamic to an otherwise very simple composition. It's just reading the caption there. Now this one is really insanely different, I think, and fantastic. Colorful parrot rug with a maple leaf border. Their only attempt with this subject. So let's look at this. This really is interesting because we have got we have the Netherlands flag on the wings there, right? It's not the French flag because it's red, white, and then blue. Interesting. This for me, I can say this is a really appealing motif, and this was a very popular motif. Birds, right? Exotic birds in the 1920s and 1930s. The Art Deco period is filled with images of stylized birds, colorful birds. This is one of them. Now, I can also see, despite the fact that birds should be popular and very saleable around this time or a little bit earlier, particularly a big fat bird like this that has done so well. Well, let's talk about the different elements of this composition. I can see why this subject would not be appealing in a super rural and remote farming community in Canada. So, yeah, we do see a lot of birds, but I think one of the reasons we see a lot of birds at the beginning of the 20th century is because if you remember the old Vogue covers, travel is a big thing, cruise ships are a big thing, traveling to tropical locales is a very big thing. Whether you can afford to do it or not isn't really the question. It's more a question of other people are. So, it's in magazines. Whether you're an armchair traveler or whatever, birds are interesting and they become a very popular motif. It wouldn't be necessarily so for communities that are not really fashion oriented and have missed this trend in exotic birds. I can see why this would not be super saleable in Canada. So this is the one and only. But this bird is fantastic. It's probably copied from something. It's very stylized. It's super successful. I love the color plan. It's basic. It's really basic, but it's strong. There's the red, white, and blue, both in the tail feathers and in both sets of wings. The demure pose of this bird, kind of looking over his own shoulder, casually down at the ground. It's like, does he see a worm or a bug or what? Very relaxed, even romantic. And for some reason, in this piece, Raymond or Lydia did not extend the branch to the border, right? Even the border, even the irregular puffy border, right? The inner field, the branch stops in the middle. Now, is that is that interesting? Because everything that we're seeing of theirs, everything is bumping like bumper cars against the border. This one, that's not happening. Interesting. I wonder why. I have to say, I'm very glad it's not happening, because that bird floating in space like that on that disconnected branch is very interesting looking. The shape of the body, the plumpness of the body, the angle of the feet, the colors in the feathers, and that just that sprig of branch, right, just hanging in space, is a very interesting composition. The very miss you too, Rita. The very irregular lumpiness of that inner field is fantastic, isn't it? There's something lumpy about this composition. The bird is a bit lumpy, lumpy dumpy, and the border, right? And then when we get out to that outer border, oh, look at that nice denim blue color with the leaves, right? The maple leaves for Canada. So there is a hat tip, and the color-wise, it's a very appealing rug. I think the problem with the subject and why this wasn't saleable for them is purely the subject, because the execution, the design, all of the choices are fantastic. It's just, yeah, it's just a one off. So, hey, if you ever see this rug out there in the wild, make sure that you grab it. Make sure you document it, grab it. If you can't grab it because it's crazy expensive, make sure you post it all over the place so we all know where it is, who's got it. And oh my word, if you ever find a second one that looks just like this, make sure you photograph it, because as far as Larry Dubourg knew, there was not a second one of these. But there could have been a second one, because by the time he came on the scene, you know, they had already been making rugs for quite a while. There could be many more of these parrots or cockatoos or whatever they are. But really interesting composition, very different for the Scots. This is another one of these pig motifs. Maybe we didn't look at these together. Did we look at these together? Can this kissing pig be trusted? Lydia claims that some pigs cannot be faithful. I feel like we saw that. Maybe I just skipped the cat somehow. The kissing pig's kind of cropped, and one pig that I refer to as the jaded pig kind of walking off, right? This is like, there's something romantic. There's some kind of a love triangle happening here. That isn't working out for the pig who's exiting the frame. But again, using their most famous motif, the kissing pigs with those very flat snouts, beautiful stylized pig, very different from one to the next. Great storytelling with one motif present. I mean, that really is interesting, isn't it? And then the product of all of this kissing. Did we look at these together? I feel like we looked at these, but then we didn't see the cat. How weird is that? I feel like we saw these. Raymond enjoys his families of pigs. It was the first rug they hooked with this style border. We did see this. I must have just skipped the cat. This is the introduction of the Sunburst Border, right? So very, very cute. Lots of multiples here. I think we did look at these. Yeah, I must have just skipped the cat. I think we looked at this one too. The family's favorite pig takes the youngster out for an enjoyable sleigh ride. And I'm sure we remarked that this is such a good motif because it harkens back to the Grenfell rugs with the dog sleds, right? So it is pulling on a traditional rug hooking motif. And for people who are familiar with the whole sort of rug hooking canon, we've seen the dog sleds, we know them, and this is an adorable adaptation of that specific theme. I feel like we saw this too. I know we saw this. I'm sorry. I must have skipped that one page earlier. Two fat hens appear content sitting on their eggs. The Scots have hooked several of these in a variety of colors. So another interesting motif, I think we saw this. To be honest, I didn't realize those were eggs. Very formulaic. I think we talked about how one hen's head is right up against the border, a little bit uncomfortable, a little claustrophobic, but as a folk art piece, it is a great subject and will be an eternally popular subject, without a doubt. Always chickens, right? Chickens, roosters, hens, all that stuff. I feel like we saw this one too. The very folky cat on a solid dark green background. Yeah, we definitely saw these. We talked about the skeletal look of the body. Yeah. And sorry. And we saw this one too. The cute dog. Yeah, we did. Sorry about that. What threw me was the cat because I don't remember the cat. Let's come over here. Um, Wondering if we saw this one. I think we probably did. A quiet family stroll with mother and 12 chicks. Some babies can be, yeah, we did see this one, seen feeding on worms, because there's two sets of babies feeding on worms. Another precious composition. Now, these rugs, in theory, are not out of copyright, right? They just wouldn't be because of the age. So these go right through, I think, to the 80s. Yeah. So, this pattern is not out of copyright, and nobody, I don't think, is making the pattern. But maybe after the show, one of the bigger rug hooking companies will pick it up. Oh, that was snarky, wasn't it? But the idea of making a composition like this with a little chick on the mama's back and then pairs of chicks, that is not a copyrighted idea, right? That is something that you see in any farmyard on any given day. So that's something that we're seeing with the Scots is such a variety of scenes, but really, with the exception of the exotic bird, they are animals and scenes that the Scots would have seen in daily life. I think we might have ended on this one. Colors make this rug come to life. The setting is a popular and familiar one to most people. This, we might have stopped here. This has a bit of a cottagey feel to it. They are trying to do a more traditional border with this frame. They're not doing one of their crazy irregular borders or one of their sawtooth borders. They're doing something seen much more often in traditional rug hooking, historic rug hooking. Pretty evolution of flowers gives me a feeling of growth or a sort of evolution, going from little sprig to a little bit open, bigger, 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 and growing big and tall, these pretty flowers. Flowers have a bit of a Maud Lewis style to them too, right? That's probably not an accident, right? Fellow Canadian artist. I don't necessarily think they knew each other or visited with each other's work, but probably the idea of doing these oddly colored, stylized tulips was something that the Scots would have been aware of for sure. Beautiful textured material in the chicken figure. Oddly placed, very weighty tree right in the center. What I do like about this composition is there is an attempt at perspective. We've got the bird on that diagonal sort of picket fence, not picket fence, fence. What do you call those fences with the long posts? And it's going out diagonally. It's kind of taking our eye out to a connecting line, which is the hillside with what looks like a storybook cottage. Very pretty, outlined in red, unexpected, instead of black. Lots of color in this piece for the Scots. They are not, their work, one of the signature marks of their work is not lavish use of color. In this piece, we're seeing lots of color, right? We're seeing a very interesting muddy kind of color in the background, dark, light, dull, bright. Even orange in the feet, a little bit of orange in the beak. There's a much rail fence. Thank you, Dave. There's a much more visible attempt to use a wider palette in this piece than in others. Even the little bit of bluish smoke coming out of the chimney against the warm greenish background, the mossy background. Good contrast with that too. Lots of storytelling in this piece. Very naive. The collection of birds around the house just set as a unit of four. The tree, the heavy tree in the middle. There are some things that are technically quite good about this composition, and things that are more clunky. The thing I like the most about it, I think, is the progression of the tulips. I think that's really interesting because they almost function as a border like this. And the way that they are growing up taller and taller kind of mimics the shape of the, thank you, Dave, rail fence. So interesting piece, very different, much more ambitious piece for them, and presumably a piece that might have taken a lot longer to hook. These two owls look right at home in the moonlight. Lydia calls them the Gagetown Night Watchers. Super, super cute again, and all of the tropes, right? We have got the starburst border inside that irregular cloud bubble, right? The inner field. Very, very signed, R for Raymond, L for Lydia. Repetitious again. We've got two branches and two owls. Simple compositions, but again, this weird and elusive ability, not weird, weird as in, God, isn't that almost uncanny? So few lines, such a simple composition, and yet the two owls look distinctly different, and the one on the right looks more masculine to me than the one on the left. Somehow she looks smaller, and she just looks more feminine. I don't know why. They can. It's magic. It's some kind of magic they were able to achieve. The difference between repeating an animal twice. A repeat of two isn't always successful unless it's like a bookends composition that's perfectly balanced, but somehow their compositions work. I don't know if I like the way the second branch is going through what would be your eyes. It reminds me of Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live with the arrow going through his head. Do you know what I mean? I do like how she happens to be framed in the moonlight. That is, it's putting the spotlight on her like she's the star. Um, she looks very pretty lit up like that. I prefer the owl on the right. The shape of him with the longer tail feathers, the very boxy, strong chest. He's got less curve to him. I think that's why that one looks more masculine to me. She's a bit more curvy, you know. The one on the right, I think, is a super successful owl. Also, the strength in the nose. He's looking away, almost like he's guarding or looking, watching, right? Doing his job and watching. But another really beautiful composition with animals that would have been familiar. And this one also very, very different. While hooking, Raymond can see several birdhouses in his neighbor's yard. They decided it would make an interesting rug. I haven't really done a lot of reading here because it is clear that they work together. And I am conscious that we are running out of time. Hold on one second. Let me see how many more slides we've got. Oh, we have a ton more slides. I can't rush this. Let's look at this slide, and then let's look a little bit more at at the Scots together, and then let's think about when to pick this back up. Maybe next Monday. Let's see how it goes. So this composition, again, what's the same and what's different? The signature is the same, so that seems to be something that they like and keep. The bubble sort of field, right? The cloud bubble field, that irregular lumpy shape. I love that as an inner field. It creates a lot of sort of a feeling of informality. That multicolored border, that's like the Starburst border, multicolored, no sort of repeat or order to the placement of the colors. They do have more primaries, the blacks and the whites, in the middle, but then there isn't really much of an order. I do see the placement of the yellow in attempt, but it is fairly random. When we get to the center of the rug, again, we have two of the same thing twice. We have two sets of bushes. They're kind of finger type bushes, like cypresses, right, with finger tops on them. Very mysterious looking, a little bit crooked, really lovable. I particularly love this rug, I have to say. And then on a post, another pair, right? They like their pairs, the Scots. A pair of birdhouses, and they are almost interchangeable, except the colors are different. And again, a smaller red one that looks like, if there is such a thing as a female birdhouse, and I'm probably being very sexist by way of birdhouses here, and then the taller one that is more dark, right, just dark and light, and the red one is more sort of lipstick red, prettier color. Very funny that they do this. It makes me want to read this chapter, so I want to do this together with you. And then lots of birds flying in the background, super easy composition, but so effective. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit because the next chapter in the book, we are in the chapter that's called The Scots. The next chapter is called The Rugs. And I really don't want to miss out on a lot of this with you because this book is very hard to find. And if you're thinking, I love this conversation about Lydia and Raymond Scott, I would like to know more about it, but I can't find this book online, or it's there, but it costs like $100. I don't know which scenario it is because when I bought this one earlier, maybe 4 months ago, something like that, it was the only one. So yeah, and I don't know if it would ever go to repeats or anything like that. But this chapter we have been in is called The Scots, and I want to cover this information because this is our rug hooking history, and it is hard to find this book. Raymond and Lydia have always lived in New Brunswick, Canada. Both were raised in a small, closely knit community. Lydia Clark was born in Hibernia in 1909, and Raymond Scott 4 years earlier in Summerhill. I think we did read this part. She attended the Teachers' College. She taught school for 4 years prior to their marriage. We did read this part. Lydia claims the work began when Raymond retired. We knew that. He continued his hobby of hooking mats, which has now turned out to be a full-time job even at the age of 82. It has also become a full-time job for Lydia, since each rug requires her constant attention. Lydia has always been artistic. She remembers that prior to entering school, she played in her grandfather's workshop and created things with shavings, sawdust, and wooden blocks. I think we might have read this part. She can remember letting her imagination run wild by drawing on slates with slate pencils. While attending college, she pursued special art courses because of her interest in the field. Um, I'm just going to skim this. Okay, we did read this part. Raymond's mother, Effie Ray, was an avid rug hooker. She hooked out of necessity. So remember, that's why they got into the rug hooking, by the sound of it. One day, Lydia decided to put her own mat in a frame, one given to her as a wedding gift, and try her own hand at hooking. She was a little slow at it, so Raymond picked up a hook and started helping. What is unusual and interesting about the rugs is that none can be made without both of them being involved. Raymond, okay, we did read this. Raymond is colorblind. Even though he has many ideas and images in his head, he is not artistic with a pen in his hand. Lydia draws the picture out on burlap and sorts out all of the colors to be used. They work together buying the burlap and preparing the wool. The rugs are a result of their continued efforts. So everything is together with them. Raymond and Lydia have hooked well over 1,000 rugs and have never kept one for themselves. It seems someone would always come around and coax them into selling whatever rugs were on hand. Lydia told me that her biggest satisfaction is the fact that people like her drawings and will often return to see more of them. She finds being unable to keep her house as clean as she'd like it to be and not being able to use her storeroom, the most depressing experiences related to rug hooking. So she laments that she doesn't have a lot of time to keep the house clean or to use her storeroom. Remember from the last episode, there was a rug with a little old schoolhouse that they was, I guess, either on their property or they were using it. I don't know what the details were, if they bought it or whatever, but it was the schoolhouse where Lydia taught, and then they were using it as a store later on. Remember that? When Raymond is hooking, his thoughts often revert to his herd of Jersey cows on their farm in Summerhill and the friends and good times that they have had there. Hooking also provides him an opportunity to reflect on the politics of the day. He has no plans to stop hooking unless forced to do so. After all, remember this is 1988. After all, he told me that hooking rugs has made him a very contented man. As I began traveling to Gagetown frequently, each trip became more enjoyable. We all felt more relaxed and comfortable around each other. Soon a strong friendship developed. Getting together often provided me an opportunity to know them well. Raymond is very musical, and listening to him talk about the times he played his fiddle at local dance halls is great entertainment. He played often at 4 Orange Hall at Dunn's Corner, a few miles from Gagetown, for folks from the ages of 9 to 90. Both are rather quiet persons with a fine sense of humor. Raymond is able to provide a good joke or an interesting story on a moment's notice. Lydia enjoys being involved in church activities and keeps up on other events around town. Neither misses an opportunity to discuss local, regional, and national politics. Both are conservative in their views. I have never known them to gossip about anyone, and they always speak highly of their neighbors. They love living in the tiny village of Gagetown, but somehow their true home will always be Summerhill. Remember, they lived at Summerhill, and the local government made them move so they could have the land, and I forget if they were doing a road or something like that, but they forced them out. There was absolutely no question of it being a choice. So then that was when they left Summerhill. It was shortly after they were married, right? And yeah, that was a sad beginning, but they went on to have a great time in Gagetown. 7 years ago, they were visiting friends on Thanksgiving Day, and while enjoying a chatty evening, Lydia fell over unconscious against Raymond. She was giving CPR and taken to Fredericton for treatment. She had had a slight stroke. In March of 1982, she went to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and had a triple bypass operation. She is a real fighter, and within a year, she was just about back to her old self. Meanwhile, Raymond was experiencing difficulty with a cataract on his left eye. Last year he had surgery, and today his vision is remarkable. Every time I see him, he always feels physically fit. Both enjoy driving every day into the center of town, a short distance over the hill, to pick up the mail, a few groceries, and do some occasional banking. This gives them an opportunity to chat with neighbors and get out of the house. If they need to go to Fredericton or St. John, Raymond is capable of driving, but the trips take a little longer each time. Until 2 years ago, Raymond spent many hours working on his woodlot, a 100-acre piece located only a few miles away. While Lydia was cooking, cleaning house, and preparing materials for rugs, he was often enjoying himself doing selective cutting on his lot. 2 years ago, they passed the woodlot over to Raymond's nephew Ernest. However, neither is ever bored, because involvement with their rugs is like music to their ears. Whoever comes calling on Raymond and Lydia is also made to feel comfortable. Here are two very happy, down-to-earth people who are always eager to meet someone and willing to engage in good conversation. However, it is not likely anyone could enter their house and leave without talking about hooked rugs, their favorite topic, pastime, and work. Speaking of work, Lydia assured me everyone in Gagetown knows about the Scott rugs. However, some of the locals do not appreciate the rugs going to the United States. I have been in daily contact with thousands of elderly people over the years, and I have found many who were active, but never have I encountered anyone who works harder on a daily basis than the Scotts. This is Larry talking, the author of the book. During the last 6 years, they have hooked close to 600 rugs, an average of almost 2 rugs a week. Lydia loves to draw the picture on burlap, and Raymond is just as contented sitting in their upstairs bedroom, quietly hooking away. Neighbors recall driving by their house at night and seeing the upstairs light, indicating Raymond busy at work. These little vignettes, they always get me. A typical Scott day finds Lydia preparing 3 meals, washing and ironing, answering letters, house cleaning, reading, drawing matte pictures, and supervising colors. Raymond is usually working on a rug at 7 a.m. He takes a breakfast break and time to go downtown for mail and errands. After reading the newspaper and a short morning nap, by 10 o'clock he's back hooking until lunchtime. A similar routine follows in the afternoon until dinner. Raymond then watches the evening news and goes back to hooking until 11:30 p.m. He averages at least 8 hours of work on his rugs a day. That's the end of the Scots chapter. Ooh, and we're already late. That is such a sweet window into their lives, isn't it? I have some pictures for you for next time too, like these coming up. Seems like they had such a happy life. Their music, their rugs, not in that order, their trips into town. Gosh, it sounds just amazing. It sounds like the nephew took over the farm, so it sounds like they didn't have children. They were able to focus on their life together by the sound of it, their music and their business, right? First a hobby, then a business, because first jobs too. So interesting. So next time we pick this up, we'll look at the rugs, and yeah, I'll figure out. It's only a little bit left in the book, but it's a few more images to look at together, and I don't want to rush through them. It's not enough for a Monday episode. Why don't we do one more episode this week? I'll squeeze one more in, just so this is fresh. I'll post something and we'll see. I'll see what the kids want to do time-wise. And I know my mom's already off at her art group, but I was hoping, I know we're such a pain because she just had the dog all last week, but I think the kids would like to visit her one more time because they start school on Monday. Why do kids start school in August? So let me figure out the rest of the week, and I'll figure whether I'm going to come back to you for an hour in the evening, and which day, or in the morning. We'll figure that out. And I'll let you know, both on the YouTube channel, I'll create a post, and also in our Facebook group, which is Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. And I hope you all have a great afternoon. It's great to be back and spend some time together. I'm going to get right back to work on those orders. Yep, working on the haunted rug stuff. I'll proof the stuff from Magpie. And if you have any questions for me, I am right here at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. Sorry about the stupidness with the plugs, but we made it. I'm happy about that. I'm going to have to call my husband and see what is going on with these two offending sockets. I will see you next time, and that is a to be continued. It'll be before